Welcome to Warrior Wednesday. It's this time of the week, and welcome to the first week of September. September is another powerful and beautiful month. Number 9 is a very powerful number, and I love the number 9 because it reminds me of the nine-tailed fox. And if you don't know what that is, then you get to Google it and see what that means and what that looks like. And for my anime fans, you guys know what nine-tailed fox is. So yay, that's what's up. And if you're tuning on here live, say, hey, what's going on? And if you're catching the replay, comment with hashtag replay so I can acknowledge you and say thanks for tuning in. And if we haven't met yet, my name is Zena Solomon, and I'm here to inspire you and lead you in reinventing yourself so you can create a life and business by design versus a life and business by default, and in the process be in alignment with your passion, purpose, vision, values, and possibilities. Hey Tanya, hey Jeff, thanks for tuning in, guys. And this week's topic is about, are you married to your story, or are you addicted to your story? And here are some strategies for you to unhook from the stories that you are holding on to that are no longer serving you at the end of the day. So here's the deal. When you're married to your story, you're actually putting yourself in a box. And that box is very, very small because you're limiting yourself by looking at your story as if it was a fact, as if it was the truth, versus like getting outside of the box and creating other possibilities and other things that you said you want to create. And so look at it this way: when you're attached to your story and you're addicted to your story and you're like married to your story, especially if it's a disempowering story, you're actually chaining yourself. It's like you're putting this bound of chain on yourself and you're weighing yourself down by being involved and like super putting too much energy in that story, if you know what I'm saying, right? So if you feel me and you know what I'm talking about, give me some hearts and likes so I know that you you get what I'm saying here, okay? And here's something I want to say here is these chains are very, very heavy when you put yourself in that box, and it makes me wonder sometimes, like, why do we do this to ourselves? Like, why do we torture ourselves and put ourselves in that box, right? So something to contemplate on and also something to consider. And here's what I mean by story, just so we're clear on where I'm coming from. So a story is a conversation. It's a dialogue or a monologue, either in your head or something that you actually say to people. And it's something that you actually believe in. Like you're looking at your story as if it was your reality. And actually, your story is your reality if you say so, if you want it to be so, right? That's actually your life. That's what you're creating, and that's what you're manifesting, and that's what you're seeing. So what I'm here to do is I'm here to, in my mission to elevate humanity's consciousness and vibration, I want to wake you up so that you actually get to be empowered to create a story that makes sense for you and also empowers you in what you're up to and not debilitate you and have you play small or have you be in a space that you don't want to be in. So that's my commitment and that's my vision. So for example, example of stories, just so you know, like what these stories are. So when you have a conversation saying, oh, life is hard, or life is a struggle, or creating success is hard, you want to look at like these. First of all of these are stories, by the way, just so you know, okay, just so we're clear. And I share this because that was my story. Like my story was like, okay, for me to get success or obtain success, it's hard to create that. And that's how I lived my life. It was just creating that difficulty. And that's a story. And that actually did not stem from me. It came from a past experience that I had growing up where everything was hard. So if you can relate to what I'm saying, just comment below so we can connect at that level. And here's the thing. We all have stories to tell. We all do. So there's a quote from a song that says, we have a story to tell whether we whisper or yell, which is the truth. Whether we whisper it or we yell it, it's either in our heads or what we say in public. Those are all stories. So we live in the present moment currently. Hey, Myra, thanks for tuning in. And at the present moment, like when we have, hey Gary, thanks for tuning in. And when we're tuning into things from the past, or we connecting, like something happened in the past, what happens is scientifically proven that our minds our minds has an interesting way of making a mountain out of a molehill when it comes to negative things, right? And it just, I don't know why our minds do that. It just does. And anything that happens in the past is the past. It's no longer real, and it's distorted. So our retelling of it becomes distorted because we, went through different things, and it could look very different. So that's something for you to consider. So I'm here to be a loving interruption to support you in breaking through that and moving into the next step. So 5 strategies for you to unhook from stories that don't serve you. So the first place to start is you want to look at the source of that story. So what's the source? Who's the source? Is it you that created the story? Is it someone else that, did you inherit that story from someone else, from your parents, from your friends? What's the source of the story? So you get to examine that, and you get to get connected to that, and see if that's your story or not your story, or you ended up just inheriting someone else's story. So that's number 1. Number 2, I want you to know that you're not defined by your story. You're actually refined by your story. And that's a choice. Whether you want to be defined by it or refined by it, that's something you actually get to choose, and you get to be in ownership of. So that's the space I want you to be in. Number 3, you get to rewrite your story. So if your story is disempowering and it doesn't serve you, you get to be, as the CEO, the author, the executive producer, and the actor of your life, you get to, your life and your life movie, of course, you get to connect with the empowering aspects of your story and rewrite it so that you feel empowered by it. And not only for you to be empowered by it, actually inspire other people by your story. You know what I'm saying? That's the point. We all go through experiences in life so we can inspire other people and elevate them with us. That's what we're doing. So it's not just really about you, it's about your contribution to humanity and the whole world. So that's that. That's number 3. Number 4, you get to enroll yourself in your new story. So once you've recreated your new story, whatever that looks like, you get to be enrolled in it, and you get to be connected to that, and you get to share it and make a difference in the world. And then number 5, you get to get grounded on the memories that you want to create for yourself, and also the legacy you want to create for yourself in the planet, on the world, in your community, in your family. So the questions you get to ask yourself is, what do you want to be known for? What kind of legacy do you want to leave for yourself, your family, your community, and the world? So these are questions you get to ask yourself. So these are 5, again, it's not all encompassing by any means, but these are 5 strategies for you to unhook yourself from a story or a conversation that does not serve you. And here's your mission for this week. So your mission for this week is you get to share what is a story that you've been holding on to that has not been serving you, whatever that is, whatever that story is, and you actually get to rewrite that story. And my invitation to you is you get to rewrite it, you get to share it, and you get to be empowered by it. So that's your mission for this week. And I'm going to leave you with another quote that I found which was really, really powerful. So when writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen for you. And that's a quote by Rebel Thriver. Okay, so yeah, don't let anyone else hold the pen. You are the author of your life. And then a final quote I want to leave for you is by an unknown author is, life has many different chapters of story. One bad chapter doesn't mean that it's the end of the book, right? So if you have a bad chapter in life, that's not the end of your story. Okay, so with that, thanks for tuning in to Warrior Wednesday. I'll catch you next week, same time, same station, 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. And then I invite you to share what your biggest takeaway is from this video. And also, you get to complete the mission because you are awesome. All right, thanks for tuning in. Sayonara.